Today, we are looking at a new watch. This is not a Richard Mille, but if you want the look at a fraction of the price, today we're looking at an homage, the Tsar Bomba Elemental. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chase, and this is All Things Random, mostly watch reviews with some random stuff sprinkled in between. If you're here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, but it allows me to continue getting hands-on watches to bring them to you guys. And as always, first, the details, then my opinions at the very end. Right off the bat, you can see this is a Richard Mille homage. Don't make any bones about it. The Tsar Elemental is exactly what it looks like. So let's go over the dimensions and exactly what this thing is. The case is made of 316L stainless steel. It's black along the outside. It does have a steel plate along the bottom, but it does have a nice carbon fiber bezel along the top. This thing is red and black striped, and it does have a very nice soft silicone rubber strap that's integrated into the bracelet that has a very nice taper. This thing is actually very comfortable to wear on the wrist. This is a torno shaped case, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult when I tell you what the case diameter is because it's not standard. So the height of this, or the length, is going to be 50 millimeters. The width is going to be 43 millimeters. And then the height of this watch is going to be 15 millimeters. So this is not a small watch, but again, it's not meant to be. It's supposed to be like a bright presence on the wrist, right? A statement piece to bring your eye down to the wrist. The watch weighs in at 125 grams. It does have a curved sapphire crystal along the top. This makes it a little more difficult to film in studio because I'm going to put a diffuser over all this stuff, and then you're going to have a glare along the top, and there's almost nothing I can really do about it. You can see underneath that sapphire crystal is a skeletonized dial. It's very interesting how they actually presented this watch, because inside the watch beating is a Miyota 8250 automatic movement, 21 joules. In fact, you can see it says 21 joules right along the bottom part of this bridge. 21,600 vibrations an hour, 42 hours of power reserve. Now, the dial is skeletonized. We're going to get a couple close-up shots here, and they have creatively concealed the movement under kind of the bridge of this dial, because this dial has a couple faux gears bridging that hides the Miyota 8250, because that is a round, not very pretty movement, but they did dress it up quite nicely. There is a nice crown at the 3 o'clock position. This is hacking and hand winding. Pull it, and the functionality of the watch is quite nice. This thing offers 50 meters of water resistance, so you can wear it in your everyday life, but that's about as far as I would go. I wouldn't really jump in a pool with this watch on, although you'd probably be fine, but I would be very cautious when using it outside. Rain is fine, inclement weather is fine, everyday life is fine, hand washing, not a big deal. Probably wouldn't go scuba diving, snorkeling, or swimming in this watch. Now here's the watch on my 7 1/4 inch wrist, and this thing does have quite a wrist presence, and the red is bright and bold in your face, but again, it's supposed to be like that. I said in the beginning, this thing is meant to be a statement piece, a more affordable statement piece, and this is where we're going to get into the pros and cons in just a minute. Now this thing again weighs in at 125 grams, so it's not very heavy on the wrist. It's not like super substantial and heavy like you'd have like a solid gold watch, but it's also not so light that you forget about it. I feel like 125 grams, between 125 and 145 grams, are actually like the perfect weight for a watch. So it has still a substantial feel, but it's not overly cumbersome. Okay, so now that we got into the nitty-gritty details of the watch, the materials, the sizing, the movement inside, really it comes down to one thing. Do you want the look of a Richard Mille or a Tsar Bomba on the wrist? It's a very controversial looking watch. You either love it or you hate it, right? So you have to ask yourself, do you love the watch or do you not like the watch? Now, a lot of people do not like the look of tornado-shaped watches simply because it's not a classic and classy design. It's a sports, in-your-face, bright red, carbon fiber black striped case, especially the one I have. Now, they do offer this in other colors, but I just like the look of the red. Again, it's bold, it's in your face, it says look down at my wrist, which is another problem because this is an homage. And if you live in a place with a lot of money and wealth and you have this on your wrist, people are going to think that it's a Richard Mille, then they're going to look down and realize it's not. This is the danger of homage watches. If you love the look and the design and you're like, yeah, I really don't care if it's an homage, then this thing is a hell of a deal. So I think that you should look down in the description below. I will leave a link to their main website. Then if you want to pick one up, you should. If you love the look and you don't want to pay a bunch of money, then you should get it. But understand that there is kind of that weird view, that in between of homage watches. So if you want to rock it, then rock it. If you're afraid that people are going to think it's something else, then just tell them it's a Tsar Bomba. A lot of people wear Tsars, and I was pretty surprised just how popular they are out there. Now, I think you're kind of getting a lot for the money. I like the carbon fiber bezel. I like the silicone rubber strap. It's extremely comfortable on the wrist. This thing is big, but I am someone who owns a Ventis, and those things are big and bold on the wrist, and those things are not cheap, and I love having one on the wrist. Again, that being said, this thing is a sports watch. You can wear a polo shirt, some slacks, or some jeans, but this thing is not going to look great in a suit, right? That's just not the watch. That's just not how it is, right? It's big, it's on the wrist. Got a sapphire crystal, again, stainless steel case, lovely strap. Everything is done quite nicely. When I got on the close-up shots, the quality control looks pretty spot on. And they are pretty clever in concealing the Miyota 8250 movement behind that kind of bridge up front, so you don't see the ugliness of the actual movement. So that's nice. And using a movement like that off the shelf keeps the price down, so it's not very expensive. Anyway, the most important thing out of this entire video is you. I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments down below. Now, I respond to every single comment on this channel. I don't have a huge audience. We're about to hit 22,000 subscribers. Hopefully by the end of the year, my goal is to get up to 35 or 40,000 subscribers, which would be nice. But I respond to every comment that comes across the channel. It could be from a video from 4 or 5 years ago to this video just releasing. But I love to engage with you guys. I want to hear your opinions and your thoughts down in the comments about the Tsar Bomba Elemental. Now, if you're still here, hit the subscribe button. It's free, helps the channel. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell. Now, I'm going to release a video at least once a week. Every Friday is what the schedule looks like moving forward, but there may be some random videos dropping in between. But I have so much coming up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.